Hi, I'm Ashley Tiffany, and this is my story. Since I was 7, 8 years old, I remember my mother being in and out the hospital. And then when I turned 10 and 12, my dad was also in and out the hospital. My mother had multiple sclerosis, and my dad had heart problems. I had to take care of my parents when they were home or visiting nursing homes or hospitals with my older brother. It was 2010 in October, a month before my 16th birthday, when my life changed forever. My dad passed away in the hospital after a bad surgery. I was numb at that point because I've always been a daddy's girl. My daddy took on the role of playing my mom and dad since my mother was in a nursing home since I was 8 or 9 years old. So I grew a close-knit relationship with my dad. I did everything with my dad. And when I lost him, I felt confused on how I was going to continue my life, my childhood life, because I didn't get to have that relationship that I wanted to have with my mother because she was in a nursing home. So it was 9 months later after my dad passed away. I was in junior year of high school. My mother passed away in her sleep in the nursing home. I was lost. I felt I was cheated out on life because I lost the closest people to me. At that point, I started questioning God, why this had to be me. My parents were such good people, why they had to go through all this trauma and why I had to face this trauma. I cried, of course I cried, but I felt like I held back on a lot of emotions because of my older brother. He was 21 at the time. We were living in the same household, a two-parent household, a two-family household, with my uncle and aunt downstairs. So I always felt like I had people around me, but I couldn't show a lot of emotions because I knew my brother had to take on the role of taking care of a 16-year-old girl. And that's difficult for anybody. He's 21, he's still young. So I pushed back my emotions because I wanted to be there for him. I used to hear him cry sometimes, but I knew that I couldn't show a lot of emotions because I had to stand tall to be there for him. So I just was going out through my life. I finished high school on the honor roll. I joined sports. And I remember my friends and guidance counselors used to always ask me oh, how are you doing this? You lost both parents at a young age. And I felt like I always used to respond because I have a good support system. I have my family, and this is what I need to do because I'm grown now. I need to take care of myself. I need to be there for my brother, and that's that. So I didn't know God at that point. I think I was just doing it myself because I'm just a strong woman, not even realizing that I'm strong because of him. So it was in college, my freshman year of college, I was invited to church by my dad's childhood best friend's wife. And she was just hey, come to church. I think you would like it. And I was sure. I was always willing to try new things and stuff like that. So I'm sure, I haven't gone to church in a while. So I did, and I felt like I had a family, a second family. I always had a first family because I was always surrounded by love at home. But I felt like I had a different family that were away from my household and stuff like that. And they introduced me to what I was feeling inside. I felt like at church I can just be me, and just talk about my testimony and everything that I went through. And in college I joined Bible study, and I was just wow, this feels good. It feels like I need to be here. That's when I realized okay, God is placing certain people in my life for a reason. And I stopped thinking about the things that I didn't get to experience with my parents. And I was kind of at peace with that. I was at peace realizing that, okay, looking back into my high school years, it wasn't just me that was doing it. It was God. It was God's love that was pushing me, that was protecting me, that was guiding me, and not steering me into like a wrong path. Because I could have had like a reckless life. Like I remember a guidance counselor asking me in high school, like, oh, I really don't know how you're doing this. Like, I thought you would have like, dropped out or like just went through a lot of other stuff. And I'm just like, no. And it was God that was steering me into like the right path. So I feel like as entering my like mid-20s, older 20s, that no matter what you go through, if it's in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, or as a teenager, God will get you through this. God is going to be there with you throughout it all, through the bad times and the good times. And you have to like realize that you're not doing it on your own. That is God. And if you need help and if you need to lean on someone, don't lean on your own understanding. Lean on God. Because our thoughts and our minds could have you like twisted up forever and just be in anxiety. But God didn't put anxiety in our mind. He gave us a sound mind. My parents were both saved. And I just thank God every day that they are resting in peace and they're not in pain. And I feel their love. I still feel their love and their presence because of God. God is just like, I took them away from you at a young age, but I'm here with you. And it's not because I'm just a strong woman. I'm a strong woman because of God. So I'm Ashley Tiffany, and this was my story.